Technology is an enabler. So if you are badly behaved, tech will enable your bad behavior.
Ooh.
But if you are disciplined and you are good in your behavior, tech will enable your good behavior. Discipline is the key word. As long as tech is something you can control, it means that you need to be disciplined enough to be able to use that tool to your advantage. The earlier we align on that truth, the better. It's not your phone's fault that you are touching it for 5 hours. It's just that you are not disciplined.
Hello everyone, welcome to yet another super packed and exciting episode of the LHC Pod. Hi Emmanuel. No, we have to start that again. That's a bit have you eaten?
Huh?
Have you eaten?
If you give me food, I would eat.
Okay. Let's do some ginger. Welcome to the LHC Pod.
Yeah.
So today it's a good day to have a good day. How are you
Every
doing?
day has always been a good day.
Okay.
Not just today.
Well, all join. So how are you doing today, Emmanuel?
Very well. Fantastic.
What's going on? What's happening in your hood?
My hood?
Yes.
A whole lot of things. We're making progress. Today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. Absolutely. So we're not alone, as always. We have a super exciting guest, and I believe this guest is someone you really want to hear from. The guest is super packed. What adjectives can I use to describe these guests? Do you have any adjectives you could share with me? I think that you said it all. The guests, like
yes, guests.
Yes, we've always brought on this podcast. Interesting, exciting, very vast and knowledgeable guest, and this is no exception.
That's how we roll,
Let me just say, she is exceptional, right?
She is she. Yes.
So just giving you a little insight. She's super packed, and guess what? You are definitely going to love everything about this episode. So Lola,
yes,
do the unveiling.
Woohoo!
Right?
Drum roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers of the LHC Pod, allow me to introduce Nkiruka Okere. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, exactly. And we're privileged to have you on the set today. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. It's been a really great year so far. And I'm just really excited for how far the year has been and all the things that we've had to do this year. So looking forward to winding down to the end of the year.
Yay.
And as they say, Dirty December is coming.
Dirty December.
But it's been a really amazing year.
And speaking of Dirty December, some people went spiritual last year and said, December can only be clean, it can't be dirty. And I had to explain that that's not kind of what it means, but okay.
Again, as with everything, perspective really matters. So if people have a perspective that Dirty December is always going to be about dirty things, then sometimes you don't argue, but each man his own.
Exactly.
I think people just take these phrases or expression too serious that they begin to give different meanings to it. But hey, it's all fun,
Exactly.
And we're just catching fun.
Exactly.
We're looking at. Yes. Woo-hoo. So, like we said, this episode is definitely going to be an amazing one. And guess what? One thing that intrigues me about our guest, it says, when I put a call to her, she said, "Emmanuel, put me on." And you know what? You are going to you're going to experience a bombshell. Like, you're going to really feel the knowledge.
I mean, I'm already feeling some of it. I mean, just look at the dress, though.
that Nkiru brings on board, right? So let's go on a break, and when we return, we will discuss a very pertinent topic that you already know. Stay tuned.
Yay! Woohoo!
All right, welcome back. Right, as we promised you that by the time we return, we would be sharing with you a specific topic that you already know. So over to you, Lola. What do you have for us? What do you have for our guests?
Well, our guest has lots for us. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. What do you have for our viewers?
Exactly. So we're talking earlier about plans for the end of the year. So, we just thought it would be a good idea to talk about goal setting. Yes.
Towards the end of the year?
No. Goal setting towards the kind of life that you've dreamed of. How can you go from here, where you are, to where exactly you plan to be through goal setting?
Yeah. So let me start with you, Lola.
Me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
When we talk about goal setting, what comes to your mind?
So I think about planning. I think about even just strategizing where you are now, where you want to be, and how you plan to get there. So those goals are basically vehicles to get you to your desired destination, whatever it may be. It could be short term, medium term, long term. That's what comes to mind for me.
Okay. Nkiruka.
When I hear goal setting, all that comes to my mind is the outcome. And because I always like to start with the end in mind. And as long as I have the end fully cut out for me, then it's easier for me to go ahead and set the goal. So goal setting, I'm thinking about what I want to deliver, what the outcome is, and so that really just drives or fuels what goal I want to set for the different things I'm doing.
Interesting.
Do you think that sometimes we say we're setting goals, and at other times we fall short of the goals that we set? Why does that happen?
I think it's a number of things.
It happens.
Yeah.
So either you lose track, either it does happen. Why is it like that?
I think it's a number of things. From where I sit, I think that we are in an environment that really supports a lot of talking and less actions. So from an environmental point of view, there's not really a lot of people holding you accountable to delivering things. The closest you can get to that is maybe in the office space, in the professional space, where people, you have these KPIs, and so you have to do this, set this goal to meet this KPI. But if we step out of the professional space, a lot of people from where we sit don't really have that drive or accountability or responsibility to push themselves or to set goals and achieve them. So you hear a lot of people talking about, I want to this, I want to that, but nobody is really empathetic about, delivering the goals or achieving or executing properly these goals. So for me, I'll say environmental, first of all, because we don't hold ourselves accountable. Then number two, there's a lot of distractions.
Right.
There's a lot of distractions, and I think that people haven't become sophisticated enough to rise above distractions sometimes. And so people get drowned in the distractions, and that just throws them off balance in terms of where they are going to. So that's like really something that I think is key that we need to start to look at.
Okay. So speaking of distractions, in your experience, what are the things that specifically tend to throw people off course? Do you have one or two examples you could share, even if it's from your personal experience, for example?
Absolutely. So I always say it again.
Okay.
And please permit me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a child of God, so in the middle of these conversations, you will hear some Bible scriptures being thrown in thereabout.
Okay. Okay. Right on, Pastor.
This popular scripture that says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Yeah. Some other translations of the Bible says, "The people run amok where there is no vision."
Whoa.
Or the people let loose or cast off restraint where there is no vision. And I think that in terms of managing distractions, for me, the biggest thing is, what is the vision that I'm working towards?
Okay.
And as long as there's a vision that is set to be delivered on, then it's a lot more easier for me to be able to walk across to achieve what this vision is. And a couple of examples. And sometimes people get distracted from that vision for a number of reasons that I'm going to mention very quickly. For one, there's also the environment again. There's the pressure to become. And many times the pressure to become is not in alignment with where you're going to. That's why I gave the foundation of where there's no vision, people cast off restraint or people go wild.
Right.
So I want to achieve and get an MBA, for example.
Okay.
And everybody in my environment saying, "Oh, MBA is not really what you need to be doing.
Whoa.
Maybe you need to go and do one XYZ course and all." But for where I'm going to, my personal journey, the vision that I've curated for myself, I mean, through God, is I need an MBA for the next level that I need to get to. But I'm distracted because the people who are around me, the external pressure is they're highlighting to me that, oh, this is not what you should be doing. And the same thing if we delve into relationships also.
True.
A lot of times why people are distracted and getting busy into doing other things that they should not be doing is because, oh, you follow the trajectory of life. You go to school. When you're done from school, you get a job. When you get a job, the next thing you should be doing is to get married. What if that's not, what the next thing is for you based on your own journey? So that also causes a lot of distractions for people in terms of what they should deliver on. So I think society plays a huge role in sort of shaping it, and then pressure also from people, your friends, it can be family. Sometimes, putting this pressure on people.
True. And this thing about pressure is so real, especially in the Nigerian society where perception is everything.
Absolutely.
And then people look at you and say, "Oh, but you should be here and here at such and such a time." So let me use that to segue to the next question, which speaks to what goals should be. Who should define your goals? Should it be you? Should it be your parents? Should it be society? Where exactly should be the source of one's goals?
So I'll backtrack again. And if you note that I'm mentioning vision a lot, because everything stems from the vision that you have for yourself.
Okay.
And that's why I really love when people have this, what's it called now? Goal setting for the year. That exercise where we do that every year.
Okay.
Where, this is the plan I have. It's fantastic.
This is where I want to go.
It's fantastic. But if you do that exercise in isolation, you will not reap the benefit of it for it. So I have a vision that in the next 10 years or 10, 15 years, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. And so I can then align my goals from that strategic vision that I've defined for myself. And I always say for myself because I'm not one person. I did not just, create myself to be or, just appear here. I get my bearing from God. And so when I say I get my vision from God, is really God is the one who's put me here, and there's a purpose for which he has put me here. So I derive that vision from him, and then my goals are then aligned from that vision. So in the next 10 years, I want to become the Director General of the WHO, for example. That's a goal. But I'm not just going to teleport myself to 10 years and become that.
Absolutely.
There are a couple of steps that needs to happen before that 10-year mark that I have to meet, a couple of milestones. So goal setting stems from the vision that you have, and then putting in the effort to ensure that across every milestone that you have defined, that you are able to achieve it to get to what that vision is.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah, so we're looking at you've spoken so well about goal settings, goal setting, being focused and working towards it. You'd also mentioned a bit of the distraction that people encounter either by peer pressure. So advice that people get and say, "Oh, this is not the in thing. You need to go this way, that way." Sometimes you cannot entirely say that they are wrong, because sometimes if you have people who have passed through the road, they can better teach you
to get there.
On what to do and what not to do. And sometimes maybe your vision is not even as clear as possible, and you need mentors, and that's the role of mentorship. And we all have that one way or the other. But aside that, there is the big distraction that is also at play, which is technology, which is supposed to advance or help us achieve our aim and goal, might then become the albatross that then causes you to lose focus and distraction. In this age, we have that. Social media is one. Even ordinary setting a to-do list at the end of the day, so you itemize things that you want to do, and in between you just jump in. Rather than focusing on what you are doing and tick off the boxes, you're fiddling with phone. And so you watch a video that then distracts you.
Yes.
And then from one video reel, you move on to the next reel and then the next reel. And at the end of the day,
4 hours in on
you're 4 hours
spend the whole day doing scrolling.
And I tell you, for me, I've had to restrict all the apps on my phone. You get, so this is technology. We should be advancing our focus and helping us achieve our goals are also now becoming an issue. How should people begin to manage that to the advantage?
Okay, so I always say this as a tech sis. I always say to people that technology is an enabler. So if you are badly behaved, tech will enable your bad behavior. But if you are disciplined and you are good in your behavior, tech will enable your good behavior. I.e., you can use tech to your advantage in many ways. But if you don't have, and so it brings me to the response of your question, discipline is the key word I'm going to use to respond to this question, because as long as tech is something you can control, it means that you need to be disciplined enough to be able to use that tool to your advantage.
Sure.
Tech is that tool. And the earlier we align on that truth, the better. It's not your phone's fault that you are touching it for 5 hours. It's just that you are not disciplined. You understand? And I'm not saying that you should not touch your phone or you should not look at your phone. Please look at your phone. Get information from your phone, but do not get stuck up, in your phone. So for me, I'd say discipline is the first step in terms of driving how best you can, manage or use tech. Because you can use tech many diverse ways that it can be beneficial to you for goals. And I'll give an example. There was a time that I set a goal for myself. When I looked at my vision, the big vision that I was, highlighting for myself for a year, and I had assessed the previous years, and I realized that part of my big vision is to have a closely knit or truly bonded family, siblings, mom, and all. But when I assessed myself, and that's why being self-aware is really critical, where you can tell yourself the honest truth. You can be really honest about where you are, what you are doing, and things that are around you. I said to myself that season that I don't think that if my mom, is asked, does Nkiruka love you? I don't think she would say, no, Nkiruka doesn't love me.
Right.
But I also don't think that I have demonstrated to her that I really loved her in my actions. So I always say things like, I'm always too busy. I don't call people. And whilst that's something that people talk about and brag about, I don't think it's something you should be bragging about.
Not bragging, right?
So when I reassessed, I realized, oh my God, that I have to change this pattern of not calling, my mom, or having to be the one to receive calls. So I can buy 5,000 naira credit on my phone. And that 5K is on my phone for 3 months. Because I'm not really calling. I'm the one getting all the calls in. So when I was setting my goal for the year, I said one huge goal I needed to set was to improve in my communication with my mom. So one of the things that I did was to put it on my calendar reminder that, I set out a time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to ensure that my mom will be called. And again, this thing is maybe like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. But every time I get the reminder, now I have self-assessed myself. I'm now disciplined to ensure that I'm doing what I need to do instead of calling my mom. I use my tech, which is my calendar reminders in this instance, to set that reminder for myself. So every time that I'm in, I get the reminder, I know it's a time for me to pick up my phone and call. Sometimes I'm even in a meeting and the reminders pop up. All I do is I take a toilet break from the meeting and I go and make my call. And again, it's just as simple as, hi mom, how are you doing? You okay? Is everything fine? Do you need anything? Nothing. And that soft landing on those calls have improved our relationship. My mom will if you call her now, she'll tell you I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And I've not done anything different other than just calling her a bit more. And it's how tech can help improve your goals that you have set for yourself, just simply by allowing it help you, enable you to be able to do better and be better. But that's just one of the examples in terms of how tech has helped me personally.
Yeah, and I think that is fantastic. Lola, she mentioned discipline.
Yes.
How do you see discipline in goal setting?
So I would say discipline in goal setting is, like Nkiru has said, a deal breaker. It's a make or a breaker, because if you're not disciplined, the tendency to go off track is very high.
Yeah.
And if you go off track, the tendency to become depressed as a result is also quite high. And we see that happening a lot, where you fail to take advantage of the tools around you, fail to take advantage of the network around you and everything. And that's one thing I want to even talk about in terms of how technology gives you access to people that you wouldn't normally have access to.
True.
I mean, I would say for a fact, this is a living testimony. I met both of you through social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it's just about the access to people. And then if one is also disciplined about the approach to goal setting, it also helps in terms of setting realistic goals. I believe that's one thing people don't talk about often enough. People talk about goals, they must be smart and everything, but the R in smart speaks to realistic. And every day, this is not an exaggeration, every day I hear people setting goals that are, they are,
very unrealistic.
They are time bound, but really unrealistic. Like one event I went to recently, and this is not a shade on these types of events, but this whole how to make money thing. And they said, so set a goal. How much do you want to earn by the end of the year? And someone was saying 10 billion. And I'm like, do you know how much 10 billion is?
Like, the person is waiting for a miracle.
Like a miracle, man. The person wants to win the mega jackpots, which only one in like 500,000 people win. Anyway. Yeah. But the point is that even realistic goal setting speaks to discipline, because discipline enables you to sort of map out where you want to go and have a good idea of how much progression you're making towards where you want to go. So if you set a goal for, say, the middle of next year, you know that, okay, by November I should be here, by January I should be here, then by the end point I should be here, stuff like that. So again, that wouldn't happen if one is not disciplined. And discipline doesn't speak to only just thinking or even the actions. It even speaks to discipline of thought.
True.
And Nkiruka has touched a bit on that, in terms of how even the way you think about certain things, okay, you're intentional, because what you just mentioned now about being more in touch with your mom showed a lot of intentionality.
Sure.
It's the same approach to saying if the goal is about relationships, for instance, or the goal is about something career-based or whatever it is, that intentionality has to be there, and the intentionality only comes as a result of discipline. So I would say, yes, it is key. It is something that needs to speak to whatever one is doing at any point in time. And it is also a mantra that one should aim to live by as well.
Absolutely. You touched on something when you were saying, talking about unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you were speaking about, I just realized that unrealistic expectations is what really breeds greedy people.
Okay.
That's a word, though.
Yeah, because when you are unrealistic with what you're doing, you're now under pressure to want to achieve this thing. But it's not, you cannot make 10 billion before the end of the year. When your salary is 70K per month. How does that want to happen?
Yeah.
Except you now want to start to scam people or get your hands dirty and do other things that you know that you should not be doing.
Or that's other business that we won't mention.
Exactly.
I think that for me, the idea from the example you raised, 10 billion naira, it's more of a wish than a goal.
Exactly. And it's not realistic.
Okay, I wish I had
10
billion by XYZ timing. But in reality...
Don't we all?
I'll have some if you give.
I mean,
why do you have to chip that in?
Yeah.
You already know the answer. That is a rhetorical question. I do want to have 10 billion. But it's unrealistic with my setup as of today, except a miracle happens somewhere, right? But that is not a goal that I should set for myself.
Okay.
Realistic goals are goals that with your circumstance, your environment, with your financial muscle, with your resources, either finance or anything, you can easily achieve this. And I recall that when we wanted to start this podcast, we spoke about it and said, okay, this is what we're going to achieve.
Yes.
We didn't just jump into this thing. It started from a point of, okay, what are the items that we need to acquire?
Yes.
We need to put up a team.
Yes.
Who are we looking for in the team? And then you put up the team, and then you say, okay, we're going to do a test shoot, and you did multiple test shoots, and then you move on to say, okay, we're going to be we moved on from 2-person presentation to bringing guests, right? And then progression has been there for over 6 months into it, and we keep making, heading towards where we want to be. So that is a realistic goal.
Absolutely.
But in a case where somebody comes up and says, oh, you know what, I want to be a professor, I don't understand how.
Okay, first of all, that's not even specific.
So,
or you want to make 10 billion. What business are you into that will generate that income within the next 6 months?
You didn't mention the popular one. I want to lose weight.
Well, as a fit farm enthusiast, that carries many legs. Right. But if I hit on what Emmanuel had mentioned, there's a progression to goal setting. And that's where excellence is born.
Yeah.
If you look at it, excellence is not just someone being good at something or someone being great at something. Excellence is the consistent effort that you are putting into something.
Note that.
So because many times, even in the workplace, you can't say, oh, I'm an excellent person because I meet my KPI in year 1.
Okay.
For you to be an excellent person who is outstanding, you are consistently hitting those. You don't need to come and brag about anything. Them go, they rush you.
People just say that is a performer. That's a performer there.
It's the thing that I say again. Sorry, I'm going to the Bible.
No, but it's fine.
Please. The scripture that says, nations will come to your light, but kings will come to the brightness of your shining. So you can be excellent in your workspace. Oh, that's great. People in the work, people just know that this guy is excellent. But for kings to come to the brightness of your shining, it is that your shining is consistent. And they are seeing that this light is not just something they can ignore. It's not just I blow once and I come down. No, it's a consistent thing. And I think that people really need to look at goal setting from that point of view, that it's a journey to get into being excellent. Again, excellence is not something that we're used to in this environment. Look at the kind of houses we build. Look at the kind of roads that we build. Look at the kind of,
that's a topic all by itself.
Excellence is not something that we're used to. Yes. So when we're saying to people, get used to building or setting goals, realistic goals that are achievable. We're in another word saying get used to being excellent, because when you're used to being disciplined, used to meeting your goals, used to achieving things, you're getting your body, your mind used to that excellence of a thing, because excellence is a journey. It's not just something that you just achieve once and a destination and you say I'm not more excellent anymore. No, excellence is a journey.
It is a journey.
There's something else that I'd love us to look into, which is the devil in the back.
What?
And that is procrastination.
Whoa.
I know we've talked about discipline. We've talked about focus. We've talked about certain realistic goals. There is a place of procrastination in all of this. And it starts from, you're supposed to wake up by 5 a.m. You say, okay, let me just sleep for like 5 minutes. And 5 minutes become 30 minutes. And then you rushed to work, and then say, oh, sorry, it was traffic. And then you rush and like acting all serious. Meanwhile, it was the little timing that you chose to ignore on your sleeping bed that contributed to that. And procrastination can be an awful.
Wow.
And it's the biggest of the biggest issue.
That's a whole topic all
on its own.
Wow.
The reason why I'm always worried about people that get comfortable procrastinating, you can only procrastinate it tomorrow, because tomorrow show, I have to say it in pidgin English.
Okay.
Tomorrow show you say you go wake up. Like sometimes in my mind I'm like, what if I don't wake up tomorrow? And it's not because God is not good. No, God is good. God is faithful. God. But what if the end of my time has come? Why am I comfortable procrastinating? If I need to impact 10 billion people and I can do it today, why can't I do it today? You know, so I think people get comfortable in that thing of, oh, I can do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is there. I can do it next tomorrow. Next tomorrow is there. What if it's not there? And they're not the thing that, you know, God has given to you or you have in your hands to do. You're just not able to do, which is why I'm really excited for you guys with this podcast. You know, if you had waited and said, oh, I'm waiting until I have everything that I have, you really might not be able to start something. So I always say, start small, you know, towards that goal you want to achieve, even if it's, you know, 10 minutes you want to do. So I have a course, for example, I'm doing, and I know that I'm doing many things.
Yeah.
One of my friends, and very special friend, who is also my boss, used to tell me that I'm a multi-potentialite. In fact, I heard that word. A multi-potentialite. I heard that word from him for the first time.
Multi-potentialite.
And I knew that there was a word for that, but I wasn't sure of what it was. And it was just because I could do many things and do them well. So I knew that I wanted to do this course, but I'm doing all these other things. What do? I allocate a portion in my day that addresses this matter. So it's not that I'm procrastinating it and say, oh, I'm going to do it in December. In December, I'm going to have other things that you want to do.
Be other things.
So every day as I'm waking up, I have allocations for, even if it's 10 or 20 minutes, to focus on that one goal and ensure that I do it. So when I look at my to-do list in a day cuts across work, cuts across family, cuts across my personal development as a person, cuts across my health goals because I have to go to the gym. Cuts across different things. And if we begin to see and segment our lives in that way, that we are able to achieve a lot of things. I mean, if we now become efficient people in the professional space, and I'm poking holes at the very long, inefficient meetings that happens in offices all the time.
Oh, this table.
Yes, please take notes.
If we're able to get efficiency in the room where we don't have to do all these long meetings. I'm telling you that 9 to 5 is actually enough for us to be able to do our core work.
Yes.
But people can't get to do their core work because we are in meetings. But when you're done doing meetings, then you now start doing the real work. You know, so
which is after hours.
Again, tech can come to play in this place where tech can really enable efficient meetings. What you can send via emails, don't make it a meeting. Save people's time. You know, help people to make better use of their time and become more efficient in terms of achieving their own goals. Because as a staff member, as a leader, trying to help my staff members is also ensuring that they're able to meet up their own personal goals. And I shouldn't be the one to stifle it. So what can be sent via emails, please send via emails. An email, an update that can be dropped on Teams, please drop via Teams. Don't call for meetings and that is not necessary for us to be had, you know.
Exactly. I think that fantastic point from her. I think sometime when I was in school, I read an article from Benjamin Franklin. I can't recollect whether it's the almanac. It's the almanac or something. And there's this a sentence in one of his essays where he said, "Don't keep till tomorrow what you can do today."
Absolutely.
Don't keep.
It's become a mantra.
So you must look at it. Is this something that can be done today? If it is something that can be done today, get to work, get it done. And at the end of the day, you realize that you can achieve so much in a day.
Absolutely.
It's amazing these days when I do my to-do list and then do all my checks, and you see the things that you've been able to achieve by just first of all listing them out and seeing them and say, you know what, or putting them in your calendar and then constantly viewing the calendar and picking item by item and executing. 24 hours, people say, oh, there is no time, 24 hours is too short to achieve, but 4 hours is a massive time. Even 12 hours is more than enough. Most times, I even realize that I do so much that sometimes before 12, I'm done with
For the
key,
day.
Yeah, I'm done with the key jobs
items.
for the day.
Exactly.
And you can easily just walk around and, engage in other things.
Yeah.
You don't even need the whole of 12 hours in the workspace to get things done. That is it for me. I think focus. And with that, again, you are tackling procrastination. Because if you have everything written down and then you have those to-do lists in your calendar, and you look at your calendar and you are actioning one at a time and then moving on to the other, you realize that you don't have to procrastinate at the end of the day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For me, I think that is it.
Absolutely.
Yes, so in fact, I have no disagreement with anything that we've said. And there's something you said, Nkiru, about, segmenting your life into specific things. And as I listen to you say that, I just realized that it's actually the approach I've taken to it too. So you just see your entire life as a project.
True.
You have your milestones, you have your specific scope, you have different areas that you want to achieve certain things in, and you just keep iterating it. If you take your life like an agile project, where you have your sprints with yourself, and then you have your, when you execute, you go back, you do your retrospectives and everything. Yes, I'm sounding technical. But the point meaning that it's actually about being intentional again. We'll still circle back to use the corporate jargon and say it's about being intentional, it's about focusing, it's about this. Everything we've talked about, it really is about it. And just knowing, underlying all of this is just knowing what you want to get out of life, which is where we started this conversation from, when you said you just have to know exactly what it is you want to achieve. So I wouldn't be at the tail end and say, I want to lose weight by next year. What weight am I losing? Where? How much do I want
the weight?
Which can't apply to Emmanuel, because you don't have weight to lose. So
we already for us, we're modeling for toothpick. Don't worry.
Oh.
We know that. Okay, thank you. I think so far we've done so much. There are a few things we've talked about. Focus. We've talked about discipline.
Yes.
We've looked at procrastination.
Yes.
A bit, and these are things we're just having conversation. But if you follow this conversation, you would have seen some of the things that you should be doing and things that you should not be doing. While setting goals or trying to achieve your goals at the end of the day. We'll go on a short break and we'll be back shortly.
Woohoo.
Thank you. All right, welcome back. So far we've been having a very wonderful, fantastic and entertaining, engaging, for that matter, enlightening conversation.
Yes.
We've talked so much, and currently we're dwelling on procrastination and how it can affect goal setting and also depriving you from attaining your goal at the end of the day. I don't know, Lola, if there are other things that you'd like to chip in talking about procrastination. I do not think that people should be procrastinating, basically. So if you set your mind to do something, go out and do it. Right? So for me, that is my take. You set your mind on something, just go get it done. Just do it.
Emmanuel.
Right? Yeah.
Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
I'm with you.
Yes. I'll do the whole, how many times did I call you? It's easier said than done. I've procrastinated a lot in the past, and I can tell you it's not easy. Procrastination is basically your mind resisting whatever it is you are trying to do.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, I want to go on a 30-minute walk every morning, for example. You wake up, or your alarm wakes you up, and you're like, okay, let me do 30 more minutes. Meanwhile, that's the time you're supposed to come back and start getting ready for work, that kind of thing. So your mind is already resisting that goal that you're trying to achieve. So there's a barrier that needs to be broken through. So where I'm going with this is that it's not as easy as saying don't procrastinate. If it were that easy, people wouldn't do it. It's the default response.
Yeah, but I'm basically saying that the thing with procrastination for me is mindset. If your mind is set on, I can do it later, you're definitely going to procrastinate. But if you have your mindset on, it has to be done now, and you action it, definitely
That is,
you will get it done. That is the mindset. So
that's mindset. But it's just
the
one
whole goal setting.
thing.
The whole goal setting thing. It's all about mindset. I don't know if Nkiru.
So there's the mindset part of it, which I think is great for people who are self-driven.
Okay.
If you're a very self-driven person, you will say, "Oh, I want to do this, and I don't need anybody to chase me. I'll do it." But I know that there are also people who struggle, again, based on their background and how they were raised, struggle with achieving or accomplishing or executing things.
Okay.
And that's where I bring in the conversations around accountability partners.
Okay.
And I find that, again, in this climb, we are not very used to being accountable. Men are not used to being accountable to their wives. Children are not used to being accountable to their parents.
Okay.
Without the discipline part coming into it. Like, oh, it's only when my father flogs me and I will not be accountable. No, just be accountable, because that's what you should do as a good child. Lecturers are not being accountable to students. Students are not being accountable to lecturers. A lecturer will want to sell you hand-me-down notes and not want to put in the effort to teach you, really. You know, so we haven't really done well as a people in terms of managing accountability. And so that's why I say that it will be great to have an accountability partner. Again, you can only have an accountability partner when you are self-aware. You know that, oh, I'm dealing with this procrastination issue. I know that I've set different goals and I don't know how to achieve it. And you might be in a space where you don't even have the friends around that you want to use as your accountability partners.
True.
You can have coaches and mentors, you know, and this is where we talk about people looking for help outside of themselves. God created us as communities, and we need to be able to leverage on the resources in our community to help ourselves. So if you know you're struggling with procrastinating and, you know, just dealing with it, I'll say get someone who would hold you accountable to delivering on those things. I always say that it makes sense if it's someone that you respect, because if I tell you, I'm not being your friend right now, you have to achieve this in the next 2 months. You really have to achieve it in the next 2 months. And we have a check-in session maybe every week or every month. And it's just really, we want to see the progress on these items as we check in every single time. I'm not going to flog you. I'm not going to beat you. But I really want to help you see that this thing that you want to deliver on is critical to your own growth. It's critical to your own development as a person. So you need it, and so you have to get it. So accountability partners are so important. And a lot of us have not really utilized or, you know, made the best use out of accountability partners. We can have them in our friends. We can have them as coaches or mentors. We can even have them as even our siblings. I know at some point in my life, my baby sister was my accountability partner. That I needed her to keep me accountable. And that was when I was building my goal around my siblings. Keep me accountable to ensure that once every month we have a siblings hangout where we go out together, we eat, we bond, we talk about our goals as individuals, but together as a family, what do we want to see for ourselves in this month? So she kept me accountable in that regard, and it was really great to see that we made progress in that regard.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that brings me to again, we're discussing procrastination, and there's one other element that I'd like us to touch on, and it's basically analysis to paralysis. Sometimes you can be information overload, like you have too many, you know so much that each time you set out to achieve a goal, the ifs keep popping in your head, like, okay, what if, and at the end of the day, you don't get to start anything. So it is also an issue for most persons, and it undermines people's people taking action to achieve or to get certain things done. And the reason why we're bringing this up is for you to also understand that if you are so much knowledgeable in a certain field, chances are that by the time you analyze yourself or your goals to paralysis, so that at the end of the day you are able to even kickstart, because you tell yourself, no, this is not possible because this has not been put in place. This has not been put in place. We cannot move from here to here.
Yeah.
It has never been done before. It can never be achieved. Why do you want to? But again, we've had cases where people think that certain things, even breakthroughs in terms of scientific breakthroughs, others have said it's not doable. But others who do not waste their time analyzing, who set out to work on the project, the goal, get it done. And everybody now says that it is doable. So right at the end of the day. So that is also an area that people should pay attention. At what point are you analyzing yourself to paralysis? It is key and it's cogent. At what point should you move? Why? Again, why do people analyze so much? It's because of fear. Fear of the unknown. That also comes to play. Fear of the unknown. Oh, what if I fail? Yes, if I fail, I fail. I'm not the first person.
There's even fear of success, which psychologists have analyzed to be, okay, I become successful. How can I handle it? Or how do I manage the people
because
around
of
me
that, you
who
don't
may
want to be
envious?
successful.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and I've seen that happen to a couple of people. And so they say things like, I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Yes.
And it's not that they don't have the potential to be more or to do more. They're just afraid of being successful. And again, it stems to, if you notice what I said earlier, the environment that you've grown in. If you've grown from an environment that is not an ambitious environment, you're saying to yourself, why do I want to do more than my father or my mother? And let me just remain. We lived in one bedroom flat, and everybody was happy. We didn't do so much, and then you're saying to the person, do you know you can do this and achieve this and get a mansion? And you're like, why do I? Let me just stay where I am.
The person doesn't even want to think about it.
Do you understand? Life is a risky adventure, and I find that many people are really averse to taking risk. So many times the analysis paralysis you spoke about is that people just don't want to take risk. And if I wear my risk management hat on,
please put it on.
There's literally no risk that you are facing that you will not have at least one or two options or ways to mitigate the risk. Now, people don't know how to mitigate risk because they don't have the information. There's nothing that is new under the sun.
Nothing.
Especially in the developing countries where we find ourselves, every single thing that you think that is one huge thing for you, somebody somewhere in the developed countries have gone through it and have overcome it. So it is getting the knowledge that you need. How do I succumb or go through this thing? How do I mitigate this risk? So, and it's a good thing to think, to analyze. It's great. I love questioning things because I find that the rigor of the decisions that you make in life comes from the amount of questioning that you apply to that situation. So I like questioning things, I like analyzing things, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop in the what if. Yes, what if this project fails? How can this project not fail? What do I need to do to make sure that the project does not fail? Because it is a genuine concern that the project might fail, but what do I need to mitigate to ensure that this project, does not fail. And it's just a mindset and perspective shift that people now need to start to adopt. We've been in a lot of negativity for a long time, and people now need to start to look at the brighter side of life. Even if you fail, see failure with that different perspective, that failure is an opportunity for you to learn and be better at something. I have not seen anyone who has been a successful person that has not excellently failed before. And
did you hear that?
That is a quotable.
That's why I love. That's why I love where I work currently. There's always this emphasis on fail fast and move on. Because in you trying to, if you're in the tech space, in you trying to disrupt or innovate, there are many trial and errors that you're going to bring on the table. Some of them will not work.
Yes.
And you will fail at them. It does not speak to your character as a person or to your potentials as a human being. It means that the same brain that brought this thing up can iterate and bring out something better for you to achieve what you want to achieve. So my thing is, don't stop analyzing, but don't stop at analyzing. Once you are analyzing, ensure that you are finding mitigating factors or ways that you can work on those things that you are bringing out as risk. I mean, life is risky. Life is risky. That's what it is, and everybody has to live with that this life is risky.
And I think that people should fully understand that life itself is all about risk.
Being
alive is also risky.
Yes, everything is a risk.
Whatever.
When you say being alive, I just had that image of someone who wakes up from bed and wants to go out of their house, and as you step out from your door, 50k debit. 100k debit. Being alive is risky. It's risky. Bills are chasing you everywhere.
Everywhere
bills are chilling
chasing. That is an issue. That should also be a motivation to want to do more.
Exactly.
Stay ahead of your bills.
Wow. Yes, we've touched so much on some of the things that could, and I hope that for our viewers, they're paying attention to these topics as we pick them. One thing again that comes to mind for me that could deprive people from achieving their goal again is what I would call comparison. I know we've talked about peer pressure earlier on, but always comparing yourself with friends, families, contemporaries, classmates in school and all of that. Oh, they are doing this. Oh, I need to. That could easily just make you deviate from your goal at the end of the day. Maybe Lola, you can talk on that.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's something that I have seen because my friends are traveling. Emigrating, is it emigration? I want to do same. My friends are schooling abroad. I also want to school abroad. It's nice. No one is saying it's not nice, but if you check deep down, you might have entrepreneurial skills
that you want to exercise here in the country.
And you won't be able to do it properly there.
You won't be able to do it properly there because of the restrictions and regulations in place and all of that. And when you get to that system, you become frustrated at the end of the day. So you are not even happy with yourself, right? These things are there, and I think that Nkiruka can shed more light on that.
So if I look at comparison, I know that there's someone always says, I can't remember who now, a comparison is a thief. And let's not look at only the negative side. I mean, you can look at someone's life and be inspired by what they've done, and that can spur you to do more. But the moment you look at someone's life and you start to compare yourself and it puts you in a negative place, you've done yourself a bigger disservice. Because every time you look at someone's life, you constantly must ask yourself that question. Everybody that has been placed here on earth has been placed here for a different purpose. And I like to just I like to just emphasize to people that you are special. You are here for a reason.
Absolutely.
God put you here for something significant, bigger than yourself. And so when you compare yourself with others, it's almost like you're saying to God, guy, you wasted time in doing this thing and making me special. Like, no two persons upon the face of the earth have the same thumbprint or fingerprints, rather. That's how special you are.
Exactly.
So I always say, when you look at people and you compare yourself, the question you should be asking yourself is, am I on the same journey with this person? Am I here to deliver or achieve the same thing as this person? And it's what we have unconsciously encouraged in our clients, and it's something that we need to now step back and say, we now need to do better as human beings. From even when you were a child, you hear things like, see your mates, they do the not be your mates don't marry, not be your mates don't buy car, not be your mates don't, and you just put people under pressure. And I'm truly deeply grateful for how my parents brought us up, quite different. And my growing up years, I was always saying that we're too shielded. We're too shielded. Then I now, got into the professional space, and I'm wondering, how did your parents raise you people? Because I'm seeing people and I'm hearing something from them, and I'm wondering, what's going on? I hear people say things like, oh, my siblings and I, we've not spoken for 5 years. How, please? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I've grown up differently. My upbringing was quite different in terms of my expectations, family values, and all. It's the same thing. My father never, ever made reference to, see your mate.
See your mate.
In fact, on our side, it was like there was a limit on covetousness.
Oh, wow.
Anything that I cannot buy for you, you don't need to have now.
You don't need to have it.
And so we grew up knowing that you only have what you need per time. And growing up with that mentality meant that I can buy a car because I need a car as a functional tool. Not because I want to drive a car. Because everybody is driving car and having a luxury car. Do you understand? It's all about functionality over the pressure of, I have to be in this place, I have to do this particular thing. No. So I really think that taking a step back and relooking internally and asking ourselves that question, how do we manage engaging people when it comes to comparison? When you see someone, let them inspire you. The inspiration that I get when I see people is that, oh my God, if this person can do this thing, then I can do it. Because they don't have 10 heads. Yeah, they've just applied themselves to their journeys and they're delivering on this thing. So if this person can do it, I can do it. So I'm encouraged to, do more. But I never get in the space where, because someone is doing something and I say, you can see your life. See your life. No, we have to do better as a people.
And truly, to your point, still speaking on the fact that there's peer pressure, I think technology too also has some part to play here, because we go on social media, we see people who display a certain lifestyle.
Borrowed though.
Yes, most times it's borrowed, because I always remind people that what you see on social media is highly edited, it's curated. They've shown you only the best parts. You don't see the dark days, you don't see the behind the scenes.
And most times you are even living better and achieving more.
Exactly. Exactly. Like there was this particular popular couple online then, when I was still being pressured, going to a relationship and all that, yourselves. Anyway, and this couple, everyone followed them on, YouTube, back then, very popular and all that. Only for us to hear last year, and when I say us, I mean us, the online family, the in-laws online. We heard that they broke up. This is a couple that had close to like 2 million on YouTube, very popular channel, always vlogging together and all that, and they broke up. It speaks to the point that, okay, fine, let me backtrack a bit. Most times if they posted a video, you would see comments like, wow, amazing, God, when, couple of the year, couple goals, because of these people, I believe in love, this, that. So I'm sure a lot of people, speaking to this point, a lot of people compared themselves and what love and relationship should be like on the model they saw these guys presenting online. But their divorce was quite messy. The details that came out, wow. And at the end of the day, if someone had spent their time comparing themselves to them, the reality is that
doing so bad.
You were doing so badly. I mean, your own relationship is not that bad.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
I learned that one very easily. I think there was a group I was in a couple of years ago, and everybody had that appearance of billionaire, millionaire, and you just be there. I walk where they walk. Let me just focus. And then it was time to raise money for something. And my first instinct, I just gave the amount that I gave. And every other person contributed. At the end of the day, they sent the money to the person we contributed to. And then the admin person then sent a message to me and said, thank you so much that you were the highest person that contributed. Whoa. So when they say those kind of things, I'm just like, that's all. She wants to whine me. That's contribution. And then he then broke it down and said, no, but really, when we have this kind of things, it's not even the people that you think that would give or have the money that would give, because they don't even have the money. Half these guys are living like really fake lives where they are investing money into buying liabilities, and you cannot shake them like this and get 100k from someone. And it really put things in perspective for me that why are people living this way, this life, this pressure, even from online, family and all, to be what people are not? It's so huge. And it's sad that even the younger generation now are beginning to talk about it. I saw a video of a 14-year-old girl who was saying something like, if you don't have a ML 350, don't talk to me. If you don't have an iPhone 15, don't talk to me. And I was just like, I want to slap this person.
It's always the broke ones.
And it's the same thing you're seeing everywhere.
Yeah.
We're hearing men say things like, oh, as a woman, if you don't drive this kind of car, I don't want to engage. If you don't live in this kind of house, I don't want to engage. That's why relationships are very transactional now. Everybody is all looking into it as to what I want to get. It's not really about what this thing means for me.
Or what you even have to offer as a
in
person.
It. Yeah. So it's a sad place to be in, but I'm really hoping that all of us now as new generation parents, millennial Z parents can do better in stewarding our children's rights to be better.
Absolutely.
An amazing conversation so far.
Absolutely.
And let's begin to wind down now, right? So final words. I think that we've dealt so much, like we've picked each pillar of goal settings and everything. And if you watch from the beginning to this point, you would have picked key things to work with. It's conversational, but the points are salient.
So I'll ask you, Emmanuel, have you been pressured before?
No, not that.
In terms of your goals,
I've never been pressured. If I were to fall for pressure, first I would have been a bad boy from childhood.
Wow,
a very bad one.
So what are you saying
now?
Very,
very, very.
So what are you saying now?
He's a good boy.
Yeah. I would have been a very bad boy because I grew in a system where, think of it, whatever, from primary school to secondary school, exposed to occultism, real life, living with it. And even up to my university days, I've had a fair share of that, but keep your heads down. So I would say I have never been pressured. I think that right from childhood, I've had my goals set, and I'm just peeling them off layer by layer by layer. And if you check my career trajectory, I didn't just jump into somewhere. It's been the learning stage. You have to be here to learn this. You have to move here to learn this.
And then move here, and then here.
And then start from the very, very basics. And then once you attain that, you seek for the next opportunity, and then you move on. And that has been it for me, because otherwise, you would have said, "Oh, Emmanuel is no longer in Nigeria. He's now abroad
in Germany,
not abroad, or Malaysia."
What's the difference?
We know what happened to Malaysia.
Okay.
So he's here. No, but none of that. I'm not pressured at the appropriate time. Maybe what took them out may not be what would take me out.
Absolutely.
We're here.
Nice. Maybe you should be on the hot seat next.
No problem.
Wow,
yes,
amazing.
I think that answered your question.
Yes,
right?
it does perfectly. And honestly, Nkiru, amazing insights.
Thank you.
When we started the conversation, the expectation was we're going to have a great time, but wow,
we had an amazing time.
I had a great time myself.
Amazing time. So you must come back. Please tell us.
I'm always available whenever. Just let us know.
Thank you.
Just let us know.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, guys.
Sure. As you've heard, goal setting, you have to set your goals.
Set those goals.
Set them. Do not be afraid to dream big.
Glory.
Dream big. Be realistic with your dreams.
And work towards it. Action it.
Look at the options that you have in front of you. Make use of the available resources you have in front of you. And of course, implement, execute. There's no need to set goals that you will not execute. So execute. Get people to hold you accountable to execute them. And just keep growing. Keep growing. It's a journey.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is the much that we can take on this episode. And Viewers, Nkiru is a consultant. Maybe she might just want to share with us what she's into and probably drop her handles.
What are the things?
Yeah, what are the things? Yes, thank you for that correction. What are the things that she's into? She should drop her handles, and then you can reach her, DM her or whatever, and then you can have conversation with her.
Okay.
Very quickly.
So, in my 9 to 5 life, I lead an insurtech firm in Nigeria. And that's been like really amazing. Ooh. When I'm not doing that, I'm very passionate about healthcare. So I have a quality management healthcare business where we help hospitals and healthcare organizations to just implement or adopt quality management standards, and we are also keen about training Judge Index. When I'm not doing Judge Index, I'm very keen about mentoring and coaching people, and I do that through my expression at Thrive Network. Thrive Network is a platform that helps bring mentees to mentors, just really helping people stay accountable to their goals and to help them navigate life and deliver on what they want to deliver on. When I'm not doing that, I'm passionate about women. So I have a women community where we are raising queens who, identify themselves with who God says that they are. It's called the Faith Sisters International Community, and that has been doing really well, having over 70 people on the platform that have been, changing lives. The platform has been changing life and changing my own life also. When I'm not doing that, I'm involved with Eden Marriages. Eden Marriages is a platform where we are sure that God has called us to bring people back to God's original intention for marriage. So I drive counseling for premarital and postmarital on that platform, and it has been a blessing just seeing what God is doing in that end. Then there's also a style and fashion part of me. Style by Kiki.
Are we still talking about the same person?
Style by Kiki, and we really just help people see themselves how God sees them. So we're a brand and image consultant for people, and it has just been a blessing seeing the people that we've worked with in the past and where they are now. So that's just a bit of what I do.
Multi, what did you call it before?
Potentialite.
You want to check you on your socials?
So on Instagram, Nkiruka Ru and Car. So INKEYRUCAR.
Nice.
Nkiruka on Instagram. On LinkedIn, you can find me at Okere Nkiruka Okere on LinkedIn. Facebook, same Nkiruka Okere.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, when we started, we didn't just want to go into all this part, but she has to say it herself, and this goes to show the quality of persons we bring on this platform. To next week, we'll say a big thank you to everyone who has watched this episode till this point. Kindly subscribe if you haven't. Drop comments. Let's see what your comments are. What are the things that could hinder goal actualization at the end of the day?
Like the video.
Let's have your comments.
Like.
And then subscribe to the channel. Share if you find these very insightful and encouraging, and like the
video.
Our contents are usually very clean and they are very, very beneficial to all. From me, it is bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Take care.